Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we are going to be looking at section 3, establishing a business. We're continuing looking at section 3, establishing a business, in the CSEC POB syllabus. But today we are going to look at objective 14, factors affecting location. So today we are going to be looking at location. And as the old adage goes, location is one of the key to success. One of the three biggest keys to success in any business is location. Alright, so we're going to see why location is so crucial and why it is so important for business to have the ideal location as it relates to their success. Alright, so we're going to take a lot from the textbook today, and we are going to look at all of these factors that affect the location of a business. And of course, you know that the location of a business is vital, it's crucial. That can be the difference between success and failure, or that can be the difference between maximizing your success and just basically, succeeding and not to the fullest of your potential. The location is the key in all of this. And so let's just look at the introduction here. An entrepreneur needs to identify the most suitable location or locations for their business. Many factors will affect the choice of location, including the cost and availability of land or premises. Ideally, your chosen location will be one that minimizes total production costs while maximizing business advantages such as ability to attract sales and skilled labor. So you see what they say here? Ideally, your chosen location will be one that minimizes total production costs while maximizing business advantages. So you have to minimize costs while maximizing your business advantage. That's why some people have to choose between whether they want to work from home or go into the heart of town and pay a whole heap of money for rent, knowing that they might just recoup all of that and more based on the amount of people who are visiting their establishment. And so for those of us in Trinidad, we know Trinity Mall. I remember going here when I was doing my undergrad degree in St. Augustine, Trinity Mall. And for those of us in Jamaica who went to Mona, I went to Mona in postgrad, and there you would go and lime in Halfway Tree and places like that. So we all know some of the better shopping hubs in some of the bigger islands, Trinidad and Jamaica. And of course Barbados have their mall also, and the small islands would have various hubs where you can identify as hotspots in those islands. Alright, so let's look at what some of the factors are that affect the location of a business. And again, one of the key things about location is to minimize the cost of production and maximize the chance of business success and survival. So let's go. The first one, geographical setting. The geographical setting is one thing that can affect your location. For example, as I have here, now if you're running a farm, the ideal spot for a farm would not be in the urban area. The ideal spot for a farm would be in a large, open, preferably rural land location, because you want to grow as much crops as possible, and you also want to raise your animals in maybe in a wide open space. That is if you don't believe in factory farms and stuff like that. So you don't want to put your farm in a urban setting. You want a more rural or suburban setting where you have large swaths of land to raise the animals and to grow your crops. So that's an example right there, geographical. Okay, if you are into the tourism sector, then you don't really want to locate your business in some downtrodden like area. You want to locate your business in the Caribbean. You're selling sun and sand, so therefore if you're a hotel, you want to locate close to the beaches. In Jamaica, you go on the what side is that? The side the north coast, and you see that a lot of hotels line off all across Mobile and places like that. So you would aim for places like that as opposed to let's see, maybe way downtown where you don't really have those large hotels. You have them in Kingston where you have, the Pegasus and those kind of places, but those tend to attract a different tourists. That's more the business tourists. But for sun and shine, you want to go to Mobay and places like that. Same thing in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of the good hotels that are for sun and shine will be in Tobago as opposed to Trinidad. In the Caribbean, in Antigua, you have the Sandals and those kind of places. And so the idea is that in St. Kitts, you have like Frigate Bay and the Peninsula and places like that where you have beaches very close to the hotels. Again, in Kingston, in Jamaica, you have downtown Kingston and New Kingston for, busy shopping areas. So the geographical location is one of the factors that would impact where you locate your business. You don't want to locate your business in a weird spot that just doesn't match your offering. So that's one. What else? You also have let's look at the market pull. What is market pull? Market pull refers to the pull or attraction of the target market. So market pull is, like, for example, if you're targeting, let's say, teens, in a mall or something like that, then you would be attracted to the busy areas in the urban setting. Your busy downtown areas in the urban setting where, kids would hang out and as of a certain age would come and hang out. So that's what we call a market pull. That refers to, where a lot of people that you're targeting would frequent. All right, so you want to go to a place where a lot of young people might pass, and then they would be able to come and step into your establishment. So that's the market pull. You literally feeling your target market is pulling you towards that particular location. They gave an example here. For example, many transportation, hospitality, and gift industries have been set up to cater to large tourist arrivals in Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, Negril in Jamaica. However, where this is the case, there's often more competition and other businesses and more demand for land. So market pull doesn't only attract you alone, but everybody else within that market. And you see they use Jamaica, which is one of the biggest tourist hubs in the Caribbean. We have places like Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, and Negril. Again, that's up to the north, more northwest-ish of Jamaica, the coast, northern coast, basically. All right. So that's part of the geographical setting, the market pull. That's where your target market should be, and so you want to go there. All right. So next one, availability of raw materials and supplies. Again, this one is pretty self-explanatory. Now, based on your type of business, it would be advantageous for you to locate in an area where you have easy and quick access to your raw materials, so you can save money on transportation and gas in your vehicles and things like that. You want to locate close to your materials, so if you happen to run out, then you can go and get it quickly, and that would not disrupt your supply chain that easily. Sometimes you might be far from your raw materials, and maybe hurricane come through, some natural disaster comes through, and they basically cut off your supply chain, and that would set you back tremendously. So you try your best to locate close to whatever raw materials you might want to use. But the reality is, because transportation has evolved so much over time, today, that's not really such a big issue. Because the reality is this: no matter where you're located, you can always, go on Amazon or whatever overseas. Planes fly so frequently, so regularly, that you can get your stuff within a couple of hours. You live Jamaica, Miami right there. You get some stuff from Miami, maybe same day even, maybe. Alright, even further down in the Caribbean, a Amerijet would come from Miami every other day. So that could, that might not be such a big deal in terms of raw materials, because, planes flying, boats come ever so often. But again, if there's a storm or something and the flight is delayed, then that's an issue. But that case tend to be somewhat rare. But still, you try to locate close to your raw materials. Let's see what they have here. In the past, many industries developed close to the suppliers of their raw materials, such as timber, mining, coal-fired power stations, food processing, etc. However, due to improvements in transportation, the decline of many old industries, and growth of service sector, this is no longer a major consideration for many modern businesses, because a lot of businesses into services. So you have financial services, you have offshore banking, that kind of stuff. You can basically set up anywhere, because most of your business is conducted like e-commerce or drop marketing and that kind of stuff is conducted online, and so therefore the raw material isn't that, the location to the raw materials isn't that important as it once was. But if you can get it, take it, because it still would save some costs and it would also enhance your supply chain. Alright, so that's what I have here. However, business location near to a source of raw materials or key suppliers, for example, of component parts, continue to be important for many modern manufacturers. A good example again would be, for example, Foxconn. Foxconn is that large manufacturing conglomerate in China that basically assembles a lot of the gadgets that we use today. For example, the iPhone, designed in California, assembled in China. Foxconn will be located close to a lot of component manufacturers, different parts that go into the iPhone and stuff like that. So you want to be located close to them. Again, the main thing is to have a decent supply chain, alright, so that you have easier access at a lower cost to your raw materials. Alright, the next factor that might affect your location is access to roads, ports, and other infrastructure. Again, this one is pretty much self-explanatory. You don't want to have your business in a location that has poor lighting, poor roads, and those kind of things. Poor electricity grid, that kind of thing. You don't want that, because if you have poor access to, let's say, power, current goes every minute, you run in a certain type of business. Let's say ice cream. Your ice cream run down. Supermarket, if you don't have a generator, stuff gone to the dogs. You have poor roads, then the experience might not be that welcoming for persons who want to come to your establishment. Like, who tourists want to travel on a pothole ridden road? They might think twice. You have a nice expensive car, you don't want to drive on a bunch of potholes, damaging your axle, damaging your wheel and stuff like that. So to have a business in a poorly maintained road area is not ideal. You don't want that, because they're gonna cost. Even you're gonna cost. You have to replace your tires ever so often and things like that. You're a farmer and you have a poor infrastructure in the area. You harvest your crops today, but you don't have a chill warehouse for miles away. By the time you reach, crops then start getting stale and start spoiling. You don't want that. Alright, so you want to locate your business close to decent infrastructure. You don't want poor lighting, nobody could see where they're going to come up by you in the night, they get robbed and stuff. You don't want that. You want to have a business in a well-lit, clean and nice infrastructure. Good bridges, good roads, good lighting. Hospitals might be close by, that kind of stuff. Alright, then you have access to telecommunications. Again, I'm not going to keep repeating this, but this topic in general is pretty much self-explanatory. Telecommunications, the internet, the cell phone, they are basically the backbone for the most businesses today. You cannot go, and your internet gone down, you feel like a fish out of the water. You can't reach somebody, you feel like you're missing out. So marketing is done. A lot of marketing is done, on social media, on the web, on the internet, Facebook, that kind of stuff. So could you imagine you don't have access to decent bandwidth for your Wi-Fi and your internet service? That's terrible. You're not gonna have a good experience. Your customers are not gonna have a good experience. Imagine having an internet cafe in an area with terrible internet service. Like, really, that's not gonna work. Imagine you're trying to reach your peoples, your peoples, in your employers, employees, and the cell phone signal keep dropping and things like that. That's not efficient. That's not going to help you. That's going to hamper your work. Internet and telecommunications in general, telephones, that kind of stuff, is crucial to businesses today. It's the backbone of most businesses, especially e-commerce based businesses. So imagine you're running an e-commerce site and your internet is poor. By the time you refresh, something else doesn't happen. You don't want that. Alright, so access to telecommunications is a factor that can affect your location of your business. Then of course you have access to supply of suitable labor. Now this one, a good example would be something like Silicon Valley, where in Silicon Valley you have access to, well, San Francisco, California, you have access to persons graduating from Stanford and those kind of technical schools. So you have a Stanford grad right there. You can go, and they normally work within Silicon Valley. So you know for a fact that if you're a startup, an app, a company making an app, a Facebook, a Google, or those kind of things, you want to have a presence in Silicon Valley. That's the hub of advanced technology and stuff like that. The hub of ICTs. So you want to locate close to an area where you're going to have a decent supply of that particular labor, because you don't want to be paying persons who travel from afar to reach where you're located. You want to be in an area where automatically, if I set up this type of business, I'm going to be able to find this type of workforce around this area. A lot of colleges, a lot of college states and college university areas would have a lot of certain businesses around them, because they know when you graduate, you might have a better chance of seeing that business and apply for a job there. Okay, so you want to be located close to where your labor type would frequent. Alright, so that's when I'm talking about access to the supply of suitable labor. You don't want to locate your business in an area where might be a little, low income, or might be a little slum or something like that, where that's not your target, labor force. That's not your target labor force. So you don't want to waste them locating there, because you're going to have a hard time attracting decent talent and decent labor. For example, in the NBA, some of the teams have a hard time attracting good talent because they're in small markets, or they up north in the cold and stuff like that. So you want to locate in an area where you have decent, suitable labor force. Then you have access to power and water supplies, very similar to the access to infrastructure, because all of them makes up infrastructure. So you want to locate your business in an area where you have access to a water system that is clean and is normally not interrupted. There are some places where water goes on a regular. You don't want that. So you don't want to have your business where you can't flush a toilet or anything like that because water service has been interrupted. You want to be located in an area where the electric grid is nice and strong and it hardly goes out. Or you have nice access to solar panels and stuff like that, because you don't want, as soon as you open, current gone. You have to buy generators. You have to have downtime with the company. No, you don't want that. You don't want to have to buy your own generator and stuff like that. You want to be able to know this is a reliable source of power, so I'm going to locate in this area. A lot of industrial parks tend to have a good supply of electricity and water supply and other different utilities, because they know businesses is happening here, and so therefore they should try and make sure that these areas, the power service, the water service, utilities in general, are of the utmost best in operation. Then you have access to health facilities. Again, I could chop this up to decent infrastructure. Alright, where you want to be able to locate your business in an area. Like for example, a lot of areas that have hospitals tend to have a lot of businesses around it, because you don't really want, if there's an emergency on the job or something like that, you have to go 10,000 miles to get help. You don't want that, and also when you have like hospital based communities, that would pop up other businesses around that areas. For example, if you want to run a cafe or something like that, you can locate in a hospital or university state or community, because that would foster different types of businesses, cafes and restaurants and stuff, where the staff and the residents and those clients would come and dine and stuff like that. So let's see what they have here. Fast, free, or low-cost access to modern healthcare facilities and providers may be consideration for some businesses, especially those that use potentially dangerous equipment, hazardous materials, or engage in high-risk activities such as bridge building, construction of skyscrapers in major cities. So this one is pretty much clear again. You want to locate your business in areas where you have access to nice health services. All right. So the location issue is pretty commonsensical. You locate your business in an area that minimizes costs and maximizes survivability. One of my professors once told me that, once a business is located upstairs, you would have lost about half of your customers already, because nobody really wants to climb the stairs. All right, so you're passing down on the street level, you don't even look up something to see a business is above you. So you want to locate in an area that, as I say, have the market pull, where you know that people are going to frequent, maybe in the central area in the city, big shopping areas, in London we have the financial capital in England, or in Wall Street, New York, or in Silicon Valley, where if you're an app developer, if you're into technology, that's the place to go. You have your Amazons and your Googles and your Facebooks and that kind of stuff. So location is key. All right, so if you look at this one here on the slides, we can see that location, again, in a table form. Factors that affect location, again, raw materials and supplies. For example, sugar factories must be close to cane fields. Climate and soil. Banana growers need a warm, moist climate. So that's basically geographical also. Landscape. Tourist resorts need beaches, coral reefs, or natural reserves. Market. Supermarkets must be close to their customers. That goes without saying. Why have a supermarket, a large one that's way out there? Nobody's gonna go that far to come back unless you have a special service like a price matter, so that tends to be located somewhere outside of the busy area in town, because you want to accommodate parking and stuff. The labor supply. Call centers need plentiful labor supply. Infrastructure. All businesses need telecoms, electricity, water supply, power. Aluminum smelters need low-cost electric power. Transport, roads, ports, airports, government regulations, industrial estates, and zoning. So government regulations is also something that can affect, that influences where your business can locate, because government actually stipulate where you can put certain businesses. For example, you cannot put factories factories that belch certain fumes in a residential area. That's not possible. That's not a thing that the government would allow you to do. They would develop industrial parks where a certain type of business can go and conduct their business there. You don't really want to put, want to rear animals in a residential area because they smell and stuff like that. So government assistance and regulations can affect where a business is located. In terms of government assistance, for example, they might encourage you to build a business in a rural area that is devoid of certain businesses. Bring life to that area. For example, you might want to, bring a university to a country. And the government might say, okay, no, we can use this opportunity to develop certain areas, because once a university is in an area, that area tends to develop, because you're gonna have housing being popped up. Then you have to service the students. You have to service the staff. Look at Mona. Look at St. Augustine. Because of the universities there, a lot of businesses pop up around that. So the government might have planned to put it in that area to spur or stimulate activity in that area. So government regulations and assistance can influence where your business can be located. All right, an example here: the government may offer grant funding to set up farming, mining, recycling, or agro-processing facilities to stimulate employment. So that's assistance right there. All right, they might offer tax incentives, grants, or subsidies to businesses to locate in an area of high unemployment. Again, they might encourage you to locate there because of what they are offering you. All right, so all those are factors that affect where your business might be located. Again, government policies encourage location where unemployment is high, infrastructures are unavailable, pollution does not pose a threat. Discourage location where traffic is congested, so they might not give you a grant to locate in an area where you might mess with the overall traffic flow. Pollution can damage public health or environment. That's what I was talking about when they put factories in a residential area. That's a no can do. Look at this graph here, and this shows you how the whole idea, like where would you locate certain things. A supermarket, where would you put a supermarket? Of course, you are going to put it in an area where a lot of people live, major roads, that kind of stuff. Call center, in an area where a lot of people are located. A deep water port, of course, going to be close to the sea. Natural gas pipeline. So these are just giving you ideas as to why locations might be chosen. So that's basically it for location. So we would have covered objective 14 in section 3 of the POB CSEC syllabus, where we look at factors affecting location. All right, so one of the key to success in business is, what is it again? Three main things: location. Once you have a good location, that can become a competitive advantage for you as a business. All right, so location is a very simple, straightforward topic. I hope you understand, and if not, leave some questions in the comment. So that's it for now. All right, so you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe, and of course hit the notification bell so you know when Learn SKN would have dropped another video. All right, so that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.